Imagine a world where the phone in your hand, the car in your garage, and even your life savings could shift value almost overnight. This is not a distant fantasy. Right now, the United States and China, the globe's two largest economies, are locked in a contest that could reshape the foundations of global economics. And the latest battleground? It is not in Washington or Beijing, but in London, where top negotiators and technology experts have gathered for what many consider the most significant economic talks since the trade war began 7 years ago. Nerves are raw, tempers are high. Every day brings new disputes. Will these London negotiations bring peace, or set off a new shockwave that will be felt worldwide? To understand why markets and governments from New York to Tokyo are bracing themselves, let's rewind. For decades, the relationship between the United States and China mixed cooperation with rivalry. They traded shoes, smartphones, satellites, and supercomputers, sometimes as partners, often as rivals. The real rupture came in 2018, when a full-scale trade war broke out. Both sides slapped tariffs on hundreds of billions of dollars in goods. Sectors like technology, agriculture, and energy were drawn into the fray. Tariffs soared to over 100% on key imports, slowing global growth and rattling investors. Now in 2024, the United States posted a trade deficit with China of more than $369 billion, a gap that is both an economic and political flashpoint. As Michael Pettis of the Carnegie Endowment notes, this is not just about who sells more. It reflects deep structural differences between the two economies, from how much households save to how governments invest. Just last month, negotiators in Geneva agreed to a 90-day truce, suspending most tariffs to avoid a new recession. The world breathed a sigh of relief, but only for a moment. Eswar Prasad of the Brookings Institution warns, the underlying tensions between the United States and China are rooted in disagreements over technology and access to markets, making a quick resolution unlikely. Since that fragile pause, things have only grown more tangled. In early June, the United States Commerce Department tightened controls on Chinese tech, adding several major firms, including Advanced Micro Devices, to its export control list. Washington accused them of violating rules on artificial intelligence chips and semiconductors, technologies seen as the next frontier of economic power. China hit back, leveraging its dominance in rare earth elements, 17 minerals vital for electric cars, wind turbines, missiles, and smartphones. China controls over 4/5 of rare earth mining and processing, giving it huge leverage. In April, Beijing imposed new export license rules on several rare earths. The result? In early June, prices for these minerals jumped nearly 5%. Car makers and electronics giants worldwide scrambled to secure supplies. The European Union Chamber of Commerce in China issued a rare public plea for de-escalation, warning of risks to Europe's own supply chains. But it's not just minerals and microchips at stake. Another flashpoint is education. The United States began canceling visas for Chinese students in fields like quantum computing, artificial intelligence, and advanced engineering. During the last academic year, more than 270,000 Chinese students attended American universities. Now, over 100 have lost their visas. Washington cites national security. Beijing calls it economic provocation. The fallout is personal for thousands of families and a source of fresh anger between the two powers. The accumulating effect? A sense of accelerating crisis. Experts warn that if the world's two largest economies move toward full technological decoupling, building separate standards, supply chains, and research networks, the cost could be staggering. Recent estimates say a split could erase over $1 trillion in GDP from both sides. The Semiconductor Industry Association warns that even brief chip supply disruptions could wipe out hundreds of billions in economic value, affecting everything from Detroit's car factories to Shenzhen's smartphone lines. So why are these London talks so pivotal? Both sides arrive with long lists of demands and little interest in compromise. The United States wants stronger protections for intellectual property, fairer market access, and an end to what it calls unfair Chinese government support for domestic firms. China demands the removal of export controls, equal treatment for its companies and students, and guarantees that its growth will not be strangled by Western restrictions. Europe, meanwhile, positions itself as mediator. Alicia Garcia Herrero of Natixis says, the European Union, with its deep trade connections to both sides, could serve as a bridge, helping to reduce tensions. Indeed, in the days before the London talks, European diplomats shuttled between the delegations, offering creative solutions to make supply chains more resilient. The worst-case scenario? Full-scale decoupling. American and Chinese companies would stop collaborating, research partnerships would dissolve, and the internet itself might split into separate ecosystems. Shi Yinhong of Renmin University believes such a world would push China to accelerate self-sufficiency, while the United States and its allies would scramble for new sources of rare earths and chips. The economic toll would be immense. That June report estimates losses topping $1 trillion in combined GDP. Smaller economies could see both risk and opportunity as companies shift supply chains elsewhere. India, for example, is already promoting itself as an alternative electronics manufacturing hub. Yet, amid the storm, there are faint signs of hope. Wendy Cutler from the Asia Society Policy Institute urges, managing risks and preventing further escalation is vital. Practical solutions and compromise are essential to avoid a new trade war. There are hints that both sides see the danger. Recently, China granted rare earth export licenses to several European companies, signaling a willingness to negotiate. What futures could emerge from these talks? Let's consider 3 scenarios. First, the best case: managed competition. The United States and China keep talking, set up regular dialogue, and create ways to resolve disputes. Trade continues, though under tighter supervision and with more safeguards. Problems remain, but disaster is averted. Second, a choppier path: escalation without full decoupling. Talks stall, new tariffs appear, and both sides tighten controls. Supply chains are disrupted, costs rise, and businesses face constant uncertainty. Europe and Japan might push harder for global rules to bring stability. Third, the most disruptive: technological decoupling. The United States and China sever supply chains, standards, and research ties. Each side duplicates technologies and infrastructure, raising costs and slowing innovation worldwide. Tu Sin Quan of the University of International Business and Economics warns, only flexibility and compromise can avoid this outcome. What does this mean for you? The outcome will affect your daily life. The cost of your next car or phone, the speed of your internet, the apps you can use, all may hinge on whether global standards hold or fracture. If you are a student, research opportunities abroad could change rapidly. If you work in tech, manufacturing, or business, now is the time to map your supply chains and prepare for surprises. For investors, vigilance is key. Watch not only for headline events like the London talks, but also for the fine print of trade policies and export controls. Opportunities will favor those who can anticipate sudden shifts, such as the rise of new manufacturing hubs in India or Vietnam, or companies that can adapt quickly. Let's not overlook the human cost. For hundreds of thousands of students, scientists, and engineers, a divided world is deeply personal. Collaboration on climate, health, and energy has long depended on talents from both countries. As Gary Huffbauer of the Peterson Institute notes, even a commitment to keep talking is a victory. Early reports from London suggest a grand breakthrough is unlikely. Both sides are buying time, agreeing to keep talking and seeking small compromises, but leaving the hardest issues unresolved. Yet history shows that dialogue can prevent disaster. During the Cold War, talks between the United States and the Soviet Union often kept catastrophe at bay, even when progress was slow. And here's something you may not hear in the headlines. European diplomats are working quietly behind the scenes, mediating and offering creative proposals to keep both giants at the table. Their efforts may not make front-page news, but they are crucial to avoiding missteps that could spiral into crisis. So, as the world watches London, remember, global economics is not a distant game. It shapes the prices in your store, the technology in your hand, and the opportunities in your life. Staying informed and thinking critically are the best tools to prepare for what comes next. Now it's your turn. What future do you think is best for the United States, China, and the world? Is managed competition possible, or are we headed for a new era of rivalry? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you found this analysis helpful, please like and subscribe for more deep dives into the economic and technological forces shaping our future. And remember, the most important deals often happen away from the